and also the songbird of Canada, Martina.
Ooh, the songbird of Canada.
What a
Love
title.
that.
How are the both of you doing today?
Really great.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Have you had any meet and greets I'm on the West Coast, so it's still morning for me, so I'm not sure
Oh
what you guys
yeah.
have been up to yet.
Yeah, I've done some one-on-one calls and a group call, and yeah, it's been really cool just getting to meet all the Earpers and stuff and finally get to talk to some of them for the first time.
That's right, Martina. This is your first ErperCon.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's exciting. That's so exciting.
Yeah,
So,
it's been pretty cool. I was nervous about it, but like I think I'm getting into the groove of it, and it's been really fun.
oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. And Kat, have you been seeing new and familiar faces so far?
I have been seeing a good mix of both actually. I've seen a lot of new Earpers, a lot of people who are like, "Oh yeah, I found the show a couple months ago," or "It's been in my Netflix queue forever," and I decided it's like COVID was the push they needed. So, I mean, hey, silver lining of COVID, we got a bunch of new Earpers, so that's pretty great. But yeah, it's been really nice. It's been nice to reconnect and hear what everybody thought about the first half of the first 6 episodes of season 4. So that's been really fun too.
Yeah, boy, what an interesting year we've been having.
Yeah, right. Great word, Jen. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I think that it is safe to say that Winona Earp is definitely the bright spot of 2020.
Yeah, of the dumpster fire that is 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been incredibly intense. I will say for sure.
Yeah.
So why don't we dive into to chatting about the amazingly wonderful show that you both are on, if that's all right. Kat, if it's okay, I'd like to start with you.
Sure.
So something that some of the fans have been chatting about is, in fact, there was one fan who went and did a full deep dive research on into the family Hott, specifically Samuel Hott. 4A went a bit historical with the OK Corral, and a lot of fans discovered Samuel Hott and his cattle ranch. Would you like to see the show explore Nicole's historic connections to the Old West?
I think it would be really cool to dive into it. I've only heard like a little bit that I was reading online when we were live tweeting, but I think yeah, I mean, I think it would be really cool. We know that Nicole has these ties and has this history in Purgatory, so maybe it was more than just being at the festival with her aunt and uncle. Like, I wonder how deep does it go? So I think it would
Right.
be really cool, and I don't think there's many coincidences with Emily. So I
Yeah.
feel like, I'm wondering now. I have to ask, like, was that name, did it come up in her research, and was she just, did she
Right.
think it was a fun name and so she wanted to hang on to it?
Yeah, did it come from, I mean,
Yeah.
because Nicole Hott's been there from the beginning, so was the research
Yeah.
happening that early on? Yeah,
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder.
it is definitely worth digging into, I think. And I
Yeah,
think that Emily never does anything by accident.
totally.
So there's
Yeah.
always there's always some groundwork being laid in there somewhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
So Martina,
Hi.
hi. It's so wonderful to talk to you. This is delightful.
Oh my
Uh,
God, I'm so excited.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. Excellent. What was the craziest part about working on this season? Did Kat and Mel kind of help show you the ropes?
Yeah, so just everything about stepping into this role was just so crazy because it's also just my first like major acting gig. And so just like stepping on set for the very first time was just so surreal and so crazy. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say that I had no idea what I was doing for like the first couple weeks. I had no idea. But thankfully, like yeah, like the entire cast and crew has been so nice and so welcoming, and um yeah, like Kat has definitely helped me a lot and helped me into like getting into the groove of filming and being part of this production. And yeah, and Mel's been helpful. Everyone's been really helpful and everyone's been really nice. And I think I think I've gotten into the groove of filming, but who's to say?
You really have. You have done such an amazing job, Martina. I think I always tell people you have the thing you can't teach, which is like to entertain and to be a performer, and you have that in spades. So I think it was amazing to watch you transition to like a
Oh my
different
God.
section of entertaining. It was incredible and very
Thank you.
inspiring because it's very brave to watch somebody step into a new thing, a new facet of their career. And yeah, you've done an incredible job. You should be so proud of yourself.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yes. Absolutely. I echo everything that Kat just said. I mean, honestly, Martina, if I didn't know that this was your first time, acting on camera, I wouldn't have known that it was your first time acting on camera.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, and very, very much deserved, very much deserved. So, and I think, there's something to be said. I mean, you're a lifelong performer, right? So I think there is a sort of an ease of transition when you're used to being either in front of a camera, in front of an audience. In your case, hockey stadiums. I'm sorry, I'm not a sports person.
It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah. Hockey arenas.
Yes, that's more accurate.
You got
it.
Full of people. So I actually, there's a question for you. Was it more intimidating to act in front of a camera and a small crew, or to sing in front of thousands of people in an arena?
Definitely more intimidating in front of a camera and a small crew.
you feel the hairy eyeball, right?
Yeah, it's a very different space, and it's like when you're in an arena full of people and they're all like amped up for a hockey game, it's a lot more easier to feed off other people's energy and then kind of just ride on that. But then like in front of a camera and when you're in a scene, yeah, you're still feeding off energy, of course, like with other actors, but it's very much still like a small intimate space where you kind of have to just go with whatever you're feeling, and it's just a very different it was definitely a very different experience, and it was challenging at first, but I hope I've gotten into like a better group of it.
You absolutely have.
Did you feel a moment where you felt like, okay, I sort of feel like this is clicking? Like, did you notice a shift in yourself where you felt that? Sort of feeling more comfortable or more?
I feel like it was very like gradual. Like, I don't think I ever really noticed it, but I think closer to like when we were filming like at the end of August and like into September, I think I was starting to realize like, oh wait, I got this down, and I feel like I'm more comfortable. But yeah, I think it was very gradual.
Nice.
And there wasn't like a moment. Yeah.
Nice to ease into that comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Excellent. So Kat, Nicole and Winona have come a long way since season 1. What was it like to finally hear best friends, and how has your approach to playing Nicole changed or evolved along the way?
Oh, I really love, I know I say it all the time, but like I really love the relationship between Winona and Nicole. I love how complex it is. I love the stages of growth, like you said, Jen, that it's gone through. And I just think it was really nice to hear best friends, because I think these two have felt it for a long time, but it's like, don't want to be the one to say it first kind of thing. Like they've got like this like pride thing with each other, and this vibrato. That's not the word I'm looking for. Bravado.
Yeah.
Vibrato is what Martina did.
Exactly. Yes.
And I think it's just nice to have, I don't know, these kind of like this buddy cop thing that we keep seeing with them, but it's transformed into something so much deeper now. I think especially because of the connection with Waverly, and we saw at the end of episode 6 the engagement, and I just think they've come such a long way, and it became very obvious that they were going to be family in a different level of family. And I don't know, has my approach to it changed? I wouldn't say anything I've consciously changed in the approach, but I think it's been one of the most satisfying relationships on the show for me to watch the evolution of it. I still think back to, I mean, the gnome episode in season 3 was like the time of my life. I just had the best time shooting that with Mel. I have so many fond memories. And then we kind of get that a little bit again with Martina and in episode 2. And it was just really fun to see the evolution of that. I also really love the different dynamic between Nicole and Rachel versus Winona and Rachel. And I think like it's a really cool how you can see how and they all need something from each other. Like Nicole wouldn't have been able to get through those 18 months if it wasn't for Rachel, because she so needs to be a caregiver. And if she has no one to care for, she completely falls apart. And Rachel needed her. And then Rachel, like Winona has sort of this big sister energy with Rachel. It's like, I love that about the show, how all the characters are so connected and all the relationships are complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's been a beautiful journey to watch with Winona and Nicole.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the cornerstones of Winona Earp, right? The complexity of the relationships and really having a lot of meat on the bone to dig into as both a viewer and as an actor, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. There's so much there. There's always so much. And you're always missing stuff because it's just like, there's so much in your head. I mean, even I was talking to someone this morning about episode 5 with the frogs. And we're just in the middle of it. And I was like, I just don't really I don't know anymore. I don't, what's happening right now? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah. It's awesome. So it's a gift of a show, man, because to be on a show for that many seasons and never have one day where you feel like bored is a gift.
It's pretty spectacular. And I have to ask, in watching some of the behind the scenes videos that were made available, little frog fear? A little bit of frog fear?
So I don't really have a fear of, it's the unpredictability of the jumping.
Okay.
Because I couldn't see this frog and I was like, oh my God, it's going to jump in my face. And I won't know of no warning because I can't see it. Yeah, it was really fun though. Those little frogs, such stars.
Do they have names? I got to ask.
No, I don't think they had names actually.
There wasn't like one named Bud, one named Weiss, one named Earp.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor, everybody. Okay. So Martina, the character of Rachel is very much a lone wolf. When we first meet her, she's been surviving on her own. She is very resourceful. She's tenacious. But now she's in an environment where she has adults that she can turn to if it occurs to her that she should do so. So who do you think Rachel would go to first of the adults that she's surrounded by?
I know most people would probably want me to say like Nicole. But I want to, like, I feel like Nicole has kind of turned into that, like, big mama, where I feel like if Rachel was in trouble, she'd be scared to tell Nicole. So I feel like, depending on what the situation was, like, if it needed some type of, like, if she needed someone who could, like, problem solve and could, like, research and figure out stuff for her, I feel like she would go to Waverly. But I feel like if she was getting into like if she did something stupid or something, she would go to Winona.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, don't tell Nicole. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's the dynamic.
I think that is very, very true. Are there any scenarios where you think she would go to Nicole?
I mean, like, I feel like she would if it was like really serious, and if she was like obviously concerned for her people, then I feel like she would ultimately go to Nicole, because Nicole has been like her person for a really long time. But yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, I think that that's very interesting actually, because you're positing that Rachel would only go to Nicole if other people were in danger.
I think also that it's just like, you know, like what you would go to your mom for. Like I feel like if it was, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that would be what she'd go to Nicole for.
Yeah,
But for like other situations where she was like, I'm in trouble and I can't
yeah,
tell Nicole
Yeah.
because she's gonna whip my ass,
gotcha.
then like, you know what
Hijinks
I
and
mean?
shenanigans. She'd go to Winona for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent answer.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that totally
Lovely.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Thank
totally
you.
makes sense. Totally. So something that we got to see really brought to the forefront in 4A was the fact that Nicole is dealing with pretty intense PTSD.
Yeah.
And both Winona and Rachel are very much aware of it. I believe that Waverly is aware of it too, but she's managing it in a different way to
Mhm,
the way that Winona and Rachel were addressing it.
mhm.
Why do you think that Rachel is particularly attuned to Nicole's moods?
Um, well, I think they've kind of spent so much time together. They've spent, you know, like 18 months together, and they didn't really have anyone else to go go to and like help each other heal through this like process. And I think Rachel well, Rachel had been alone for so long, and so I think she got used to living life without her mom and without having friends and all that, but she sees that Nicole has lost all these people that mean so much to her, and they both have no idea when they're coming back. And so I feel like spending all that time with Nicole definitely, like, she was definitely able to see more of that side of Nicole, like more of the healing and like the hurting. So I think that's probably why Rachel's more tuned to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're there in real time 3D to see what your friend was going through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So I'm going to ask a couple of Twitter-based questions, if that's all
Cool.
right with the both of you, before we start wrapping up here. Let's see, from Yorkshire, at potties000, I think also known as Yorkie to the folks on Twitter, Stan Twitter. What was it like your first day on set filming at the bus station when you finally got to meet each other? So Kat, I'll go to you first, and then Martina.
Oh, the bus station. Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, Martina, was that our first day, the Greyhound station?
I don't know. My first day was filming episode 3, 403.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. We filmed out of order. Okay, so
Yes, we filmed that in
your
order.
first, let me amend that. So what was it like your first day on set, meeting each other and getting the ball rolling?
I think our first scene was the Batman in the microwave. There's a monster in the
Oh
trap
yeah,
thingy.
totally.
Yeah, that was really fun. And it was just like there were so many moving parts, and like me coming in having no idea what I was doing. I was like, what are marks? Why do I have to grab all these props? And then I like ran into Donovan, who's on B cam, and I like fully bruised my thighs, but it was all good. It was all fun and fresh. It was really good.
Gotta get those first day jitters out. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was awesome though. I mean, that was a big scene to start with because like you said, Martina, there's a lot of moving parts. So it's always hard when you're like, okay, come in on this line, stand here, hit this mark, pick up this prop, run this way, then hit here, but don't look at the ground while you do it. Like
Yeah.
it's like doing one of those dances because you've got all these, and there's all these different colors, and you have to find your color, but you can't look at it. So
Yeah.
it's really hard. I remember my first day on set, I didn't know what back to ones meant. And I was standing, I told you this story, I think.
Yeah,
I've told it a few times on panels and stuff, but like, yeah, it's really hard there's just so much outside of just the acting this is like the acting job. And then there's like this
all the other
whole
stuff.
other stuff. Yeah. right?
Yeah.
And you cut, and then like the makeup comes up to you and they're touching you, and costumes is touching you, and the script supervisor comes up and be like, you mix these lines up, you've got to say this word instead of this word. And the director comes in with a note, and the lighting guy's adjusting something.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
lot.
crazy. It's a lot. Yeah.
It's very much patting your head while rubbing your stomach while doing, you know,
all the other things.
yeah,
Dancing
well, doing the mashed potato at
like,
the same
all of
time.
it,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Oh man.
And also, you know, probably having to recite back, you know, the alphabet in reverse. Just, you know, all these things that easily can be done all at once. Like, you know, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
The next question, Martina, is for you. It's from @bmovies212. As the new person on set, is it more fun shooting the exciting supernatural stuff or trying to do the normal stuff? And those examples would be fighting zombies for supernatural or romancing Billy.
None of like this show is just so wild that like all of the normal stuff is not normal at all. Like it's like, yeah, I'm having like this little cutesy situation with Billy, but plot twist, he's from a cursed family and he's about to yank his tooth out. You know, so it's like every day is just something new and there's something else, something wild happening, and it's like yeah, I don't know what it's like. It's fun to do whatever. Like I don't think I have an answer for that because I like anything.
That's good. That's a great attitude to have, though. That's a wonderful attitude to have, especially going into a new thing and trying everything out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just like in general, I like filming the scenes where like we're all together because I think that's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite ones too.
Mm-hmm.
What's it been like for you to step into the shoes of an actor, Martina? Did you have any experience either, you know, doing school plays or community theater or anything like that before going out for this role?
So I have been taking like acting classes ever since I was 11 or 12-ish. And then when I was 14, I think I was in a production of Mary Poppins and I played Jane Banks and it was really fun. But yeah, I'd gone on so many auditions, like countless auditions, and it's just most of the things I've gotten were always like singing stuff, which is understandable, but this is like my first major acting gig. So it was a very different experience and a challenge, but it's all good. It's all fun.
But what a wonderful family to start with, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Couldn't have asked for a better casting crew to work with. Like, everyone was so welcoming and so nice, and everyone helped me out. Everyone understood that I had no idea what I was doing, so everyone was very helpful.
Wonderful. That's so, oh man, I love to hear that. I love to hear how welcoming the set is for Winona Earp. It's just, oh man, makes me want to be there. It's just in the corner, you know, little PA, no big deal, you know. I'll be a gopher, go for this, go for that, whatever you need. Let's see, one more question from Twitter here, from @CoffeeDatesWithJoe. Kat, when you said you were ready to explore the darker side of Nicole and the trauma and guilt and the PTSD she had gone through, what was the mindset and inner voice to get you to that place? It felt so real and raw.
I think that I, as a person, am very much, I have the similar qualities of Nicole of like being a protector and like taking that pretty seriously. And I really hate letting people down.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of like my biggest things. Like I want everyone to be happy. I'm a real people pleaser. I hate disappointing people. Like I'm very much like if I say I'm going to do something and I can't do it for some reason, it like destroys me.
Right. Yeah.
So I think for me, I really identified with that aspect of Nicole's journey. And so just going through like if that had happened to me, and if I mean Nicole's even more so in some ways, you know, if your whole kind of moral compass and what you value in life and what you place importance on is like being a provider and a caregiver and not letting people down. And then you've done all those things. So that was really like, I think tapping into that in general. There wasn't really a specific moment that I recalled, but just more in general, because it does carry a lot of weight for me too. Like I'm very much kind of the provider, organizer, keep the group together, make sure everyone's okay, make sure everyone's happy. And I think if someone took that away from me, or the times where I felt like I wasn't able to step up to the plate as fully as I wanted to, or it's really hard when you're that type of person and when you're a people pleaser. And so it was really just that, having that kind of common ground with her.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I know when Dominique had the Jillian episode, she kind of got to a really dark place personally. Were you able to kind of compartmentalize and separate Kat from Nicole for those filming days, or did you sort of start to feel yourself experiencing?
I think when you spend time in a low place all day, it's hard to pull out of it. So I would go home and like just talk to family, friends, and watch, something fun or uplifting just to sort of pull myself out. But I leaned on Melanie a lot. I mean, it really came to a pinnacle in episode 3, and that was the first thing we shot. So I think in a way it worked to my favor because I had been away from Nicole for such a long time. So it was like finding her again, but there was this new energy that I hadn't played in her skin before, like in her ness. I don't know what the word is, essence, I guess, in her. So Melanie was really helpful because I was worried that it was going too dark or too depressed or too detached. And that was sort of the theme that kept coming up as we sort of sprinkled her processing of it all throughout. I was just worried because the hard thing on Winona Earp, I always find, is like when you're working on a show, I think it's for me, I always try to think about what's the overall tone of this episode in this show. So
yeah,
like
absolutely.
The acting style on Coronation Street is pretty different from the acting style on Arrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to adapt, even if you're playing the archetypal scene of mother, son, or daughter, father, or like lover, lover, whatever, because we all have these archetypes, right? Having it on one show versus the other is going to be different just because of the tone. So I think I was always concerned that there was a scene where the tone was really up, like in the chili cook-off. Cole was in a very different place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always trying to like play the truth, but also be in the tone of the episode. And that's the challenge where I really leaned on Melanie. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but I think,
I think it does. I think it absolutely does. And I'm so glad that you had Melanie there as the captain of that ship for that 100%. Episode to lean on. Well, this has been so much fun chatting with you both. I am honored to be able to moderate this panel. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much to our amazing ASL interpreter, Nicole. You were wonderful. Thank you. And everyone, stay tuned to ErpCurtCon for more amazing panels to come this weekend.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Nicole.